Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zemcrow here, aka Scoot, back with the International Draft Masters Season 2, week number 9. Yeah, we're closing in on the end of the season, and here in week number 9, we're taking on the Shamrock Snovers, who are coached by I'm Pledge. You may have noticed my Hoopa Unbound nicknamed I'm Pledge this season. That's because Pledge drafted it last season, and he did well with it, and he's a good buddy, so I'm naming my Hoopa after him, and this is the guy. So Pledge, coach of the Shamrock Snovers. I met him in the UAL, the Universal Analyst League, where we were both, brought in by the confusion from the GBA, and basically just chatting. It was basically a league for all the GBA analysts, and me and Pledge were tossed in because of our analytical experience. And so yeah, that's how we met. We played 3 times that season, twice in the regular season as divisional rivals, and once for the divisional title. And Pledge took all 3 games, so we're 3 games behind. Not only that, but him being a very good player, I think he went on and played in the finals that season. Maybe won the league. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we went on to recruit him for the iDM season 1, where he joined. He played with us. I didn't upload last season, which I should have. I had a sick team. Landers Incarnate, Weavall, very fun team. But yeah, we played last season too, and he beat us again. So we're 0-4. We've got 4 losses versus this man. And yeah, definitely looking for some redemption this season. Not only that, but we're looking for our 7th win so we can clinch playoffs and potentially get a top 2 seed, one of the top 2 seeds, and get that first round bye, which is very important. The playoff races are extremely tight right now. Any slip up, any loss could potentially knock you out of the top spot, the 2nd spot, the 3rd spot, whatever it may be. The top 6 guys are neck and neck right now, and Andy took over a team that was 1-3, I think, and he turned it around to a 4-4 team right now. He's went 3-1 himself. And he's looking to make a playoff rush too. So that being said, playoffs still are completely tight, undecided. That 7th spot still needs to be taken up. 7 wins, I'm pretty sure, guarantees. I'm not even sure that 7 wins guarantees you playoffs right now, or at least it doesn't guarantee you. It doesn't guarantee it yet, because Andy could finish with 7 wins. He could finish with 7 wins and be 7-4. A couple other teams fall to 7-4, or actually, yeah. 7-4 is the benchmark. So if any teams fall to 7-4, then Andy has a chance to surpass them with his own 7-4 record. Right now we're sitting at 6-2. We have 3 games left. We could definitely pick up a couple losses. We could definitely pick up a couple wins. It's not entirely important, because as long as we make playoffs, we're fine. Because all we gotta do is just keep winning at that point. But we would really like the first round bye. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay. And these last few matches are, for me, week number 9 versus I'm Pledge, week number 10 versus the Confusion, and week number 11 versus Jack O, coach of the Sutopla Swamperts, who are number 3, number 2, and Pledgey number 6 team right here. So schedules are definitely tough to finish out. However, these are players that I could potentially play again in the playoffs. I just want to make that clear, that my teams, while they're not a meme team or anything like that, they're not my best builds. And I've actually got, once you see the team builder here, you'll notice something about my Volcarona. We'll get into that. We'll discuss that. It's nothing strange. Don't be alarmed. I didn't go into the game with no EVs or anything like that. Just check out my Volcarona. I'll go into details on that later. But the fact that we can play Pledge again plays a big role on what I'm showing on my Volcarona and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and talk about the team matchup here. My opponent has Zygarde 50%, one of the best Pokemon in the format, in my opinion. And it's a Z-move user, so phenomenal. Dragon Dance Mon, Coil, Substitute, Setup, Toxic, Banded, Choice Scarf even. I've even faced Specs variants of Zygarde 50%, so this thing is a headache. It's a monster. A huge threat to my team as well. After a Dragon Dance, it really goes in outside of Mandibuzz, but it's gonna 3-hit KO Mandibuzz anyway. Levitate Bronzong. Can't check it thanks to 1,000 arrows. So I've actually got a different kind of Pokemon this week that I'm going to be trying to use to check Zygarde. He's got Zapdos. Zapdos, we all know how good Zapdos is. Jirachi, the Flinch Master. Tangrowth, Gastrodon, Hitmontop, Uxie, Mega Houndoom, Florges, Gengar, and Frogadier. So looking at his team, you'd probably think something like Jirachi and Zygarde would be his kill leaders. And then Zapdos, Tangrowth, and Gastrodon have been very annoying for other teams. And then you got the secret techs like Mega Hound, not the secret techs, but the little X Factors or Weapon X's, and Frogadier, Mega Houndoom, and Gengar. So my opponent's got a very, very threatening squad. Mega Houndoom is his kill leader with more than 10 kills or something like that in less than 9 games, so that's really cool. However, I feel like this team matchup doesn't necessarily lean in either of us' favor. I feel like Volcarona is a huge offensive threat to my opponent, so I feel like he's got to be ready for that. So I know he's going to bring things like maybe a Clear Smog Gastrodon, or like a Rock Slide Frogadier, potentially like a Choice Scarf Frogadier with... See, now naturally Volcarona outspeeds Frogadier, so that's why I'm mentioning this. This is why. I'm mentioning this right now. Volcarona naturally outspeeds Frogadier, but if you've watched my videos all season, and you'll catch something that I do with Volcarona. I hardly ever make... I don't use never. Never is an absolute word, and only Sith deal in absolutes. So we'll get back to this. I hardly run max speed on my Volcarona. So I expect maybe a Choice Scarf max speed Frogadier with Rock Slide to be a nice revenge killer. I think it also gets Gunk Shot at this before it becomes a Greninja. So it could be a nice revenge killer to Tapu Koko as well. And Mamoswine with like Hydro Pump, Rock Slide, and say Gunk Shot or something like that. So, and Ice Beam for like Serena and Mandibuzz and Garchomp and Hippo and stuff like that. Could also pack Grass Knot for Seismitoad. So lots of different things. I think Frogadier could be a bring, but I'm expecting Zygarde, Zapdos, Jirachi, Tangrowth, Gastrodon, and either Florges, Uxie, or Mega Houndoom. So there's that. That's my prediction on his. He's definitely bringing Zygarde, Zapdos, Jirachi, and Tangrowth. There's no doubt about those 4 Pokemon. And then the last 2 are a toss-up. He could bring Uxie as a Stealth Rocker. He could bring Stealth Rocks on Jirachi. So it's a little bit, here or there. Neither here nor there. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the replay here. Not the replay, but the prep. We have Koko, Mamoswine, Hoopa Unbound, Bronzong, Volcarona, Serena, Seismitoad, Mienshao, Mandibuzz, Mini Hippo, and Mega Garchomp, where our Z-move users are Bronzong and Volcarona. So the team we're going to be bringing this week. Alright, so we've decided to bring this Tapu Koko with the Shuka Berry. So our entire team revolves around catching momentum and bringing Hoopa in to fire off extremely hard attacks, while also preventing Zygarde from getting any free setup. It cannot get free setup. We'll talk about it. So I have the Shuka Berry here on Tapu Koko, so I can always stay in versus Zygarde and click Dazzling Gleam. Even if my opponent's revealed Choice Scarf, if I have my Shuka Berry intact, I can take the 1,000 arrows or Earthquake, whatever it may be, and fire back with the Dazzling Gleam. It could be crucial damage. You could put him in Ice Shard range, something like that. So that's the idea behind everything, just being able to take a hit from Zygarde and dish some damage back. I do have the Shuka Berry, like I mentioned. Taunt prevents things like Uxie from getting up Stealth Rocks, prevents Wish Pass from Florges and Jirachi, prevents Rocks from Jirachi as well. And it prevents things like Gastrodon from clicking Recover. And I guess that's just about it. And then Thunderbolt hits everything else pretty much generally hard. That's not a ground type or his Tangrowth. And then we have the Dazzling Gleam to hit basically anything that Thunderbolt doesn't hit, but most importantly there for the Zygarde 50%, and the Grass Knot's only there for the Gastrodon. It's only there for the Gastrodon. I do expect Rindoberry. However, I do have ways like Serena or Gigadrin Volcarona potentially that could pop a Rindoberry and render it useless, so that my Coco's Grass Knot will actually not have to pop the Rindoberry. So that's pretty okay, I guess. Dazzling Gleam and Thunderbolt hit Mega Houndoom and Uxie just about the same outside of the terrain, but inside terrain I want to spam Thunderbolt mostly, and then I guess with Taunt I also prevent Zapdos from roosting up a lot. Like, it's not going to be too big of an issue and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. I naturally outpace everything on this team. I'm sitting at a speed tier where I can outpace Mega Houndoom, which outpaces, Gengar, Frogadier, Jirachi, Zygarde, all of his Pokemon. This is faster than anything on his team that's not like got a speed boost or a Choice Scarf. So that's pretty important. And yeah, that's going to be it for Tapu Koko. We can dive on into Mamoswine here and go ahead and check it out. I have a Choice Scarf variant this week. It is my designated Stealth Rocker. However, Stealth Rocks aren't a priority. I feel like I'm going to be removing hazards a lot. Not necessarily removing them a lot, but as long as rocks get set up on my side of the field, I have to remove them for Volcarona to be efficient in what it does. Which I'm not going to spoil. You'll see in a minute about my Volcarona set and why I'm talking about it a little bit weird. But we have a thick, fat Mamoswine here with the Choice Scarf. So things like Mega Houndoom aren't dropping us with the Flamethrower with our thick, fat. We are Choice Scarf, so if our item does get knocked off, then we have an issue with Houndoom. But outside of that, we can fire off a Choice Scarf Earthquake and it removes Houndoom from the game. Choice Scarf Icicle Crash. I am adamant, max attack adamant Mamoswine here, so my Icicle Crash is going to be doing a lot to Zapdos, Tangrowth, Gastrodon even. I thought about bringing Freeze Dry, like a Life Orb Freeze Dry set, but I ultimately decided on the set. Like I mentioned, this is not the most serious team. As you can see, my EV spreads aren't complex or anything like that. I just have, either max speed or enough speed here, and then max special attack or max attack here or there. So yeah, Mamoswine just coming through it. It's gonna break, with Stealth Rocks up and having an adamant nature. Earthquakes are doing quite a bit, even to defensive Florges. I do have to watch out for like a defensive Uxie. I'm not packing knockoff, and it's immune to Earthquake, so I have to watch out for that. But I feel like the rest of my team can pressure it and stuff like that, so I'm not at a disadvantage or anything. And I feel like a Choice Scarf Mamoswine could catch my opponent off guard, and that's the main thing. Like if he leads off with Gengar and I lead off with Mamoswine, I could potentially catch him right then and there with a Choice Scarf Earthquake, and then get rid of a Gengar, which could potentially be a huge threat to my team if Mandibuzz goes down. So yeah, that's pretty important, I think. And like I mentioned, with my Choice Scarf, I'm almost guaranteed Stealth Rocks if I can find an opportunity to. I'm guaranteed to get them up. But if I could force something out as I get them up and then switch out myself and be in an okay position, then that would be phenomenal. If I could come in on something like Zygarde or Tangrowth or Zapdos, force it out, fearing my Ice type attack, then get my Stealth Rocks up as he switches out, and then switch out. Say my opponent switches into Gastrodon as I get my Stealth Rocks up, and then I have Serena, such a good switch into Gastrodon, to just hard switch into immediately, and then I got my rocks up. I'm taking no damage from Gastrodon and stuff like that. So that's just a scenario in my head. But yeah, that's gonna be the idea behind that. And I got the Ice Shard. Even though I'm Choice Scarf, I decided to bring Ice Shard anyway, just in case there's like a Dragon Dance Zygarde that doesn't have extreme speed that I can maybe bring in my Choice Scarf. And if he knows I'm Choice Scarf, then he's gonna be inclined to maybe click 1,000 Arrows, knowing that I'm not Bandit or Life Orb or anything like that, thinking he might be able to live in Ice Shard, and I will be able to get, or an Icicle Crash, and I'll be able to get an Ice Shard, potentially 2 off, you never know, so, and eliminate the Zygarde 50%. So that's going to be it for Mammal Swan, and we can move on to Hoopa Unbound, where we're bringing a little. This is a set that we've brought once already. Maybe not the exact same EV spread, but sub, power up punch, Hoopa Unbound with the Salak Berry. It's something we've brought before. But it works out pretty good in this match as well. And we can set up on things like a Gastrodon that has special attacking moves because of our special defense being so naturally high. And potentially even a Zapdos that has like no special, special attack investment. Maybe. I didn't run any calcs. It does have base 125 special attack, so it might be unlikely. Anyways, this thing is a nuke. So the idea for my team, as you'll see in a minute, is I have U-turn on Serena and Mandibuzz, where I can just, once I bring those defensive Pokemon in, my opponent's going to be in a position where he's going to have to switch out or Toxic Mirror or something. He can't break my defense with the Pokemon that I switch it into. Like if he's got his Gengar in, I bring my Mandibuzz in. He can't do anything with my Mandibuzz, so I can click Rooster, I can click to get my health back, or if I'm already at full health, I can just click U-turn and get momentum off of his switch. Same thing for Serena. If I come in on his Gastrodon, I can click U-turn on his switch. And once I U-turn out, depending on what he brings in, I can bring in Hoopa Unbound and just click these Adamant Hyperspace Furies or these Adamant Zen Headbutts. Or if I know he's going to sack something off, I could potentially click Substitute. And if I'm faster than this Pokemon that he's sacking off, I could potentially get a Power-Up Punch to knock it out, be behind a sub, and have +1 attack. And then if he brings something in like a Scarf Gengar to break my sub and revenge kill me, then he could break my sub as I click Substitute again, get lower health. He breaks my sub as I click Substitute again, and I get lower health. And eventually my Salak Berry is going to pop, and I'll get +1 speed, +1 attack behind the sub, and then the Hoopa Unbound just eats and eats and eats for real. But yeah, that's the idea. I need some chip on a defensive Florges, and then like Hyperspace Fury into Adamant Zen Headbutt after Stealth Rocks is going to knock it out eventually. It can't continuously take these, and the rest of my team also pressures it pretty well. So yeah, Hyperspace Fury, Zen Headbutt. Merch's entire team, it's neutral versus everything. Hyperspace Fury is actually super effective against a couple of his Pokemon, and Zen Headbutt's super effective against I think that's actually Gengar though. And then Power Up Punch, I could potentially get a boost versus like a weakened Gastrodon or a weakened Tangrowth or something like that. And that's the idea behind that. Not only that though, once my Salak Berry pops, picture this in your head. Picture my Salak Berry popping, me at +1 attack from a Power Up Punch, behind a Substitute with 24% health left, and I attack somebody like Jirachi, knock it out with my Hyperspace Fury, and my Magician steals its Life Orb or something like that. So I only got 3 hits left in me after that because of the Life Orb recoil, but then I would be a +1/+1 Hoopa Unbound behind a sub with a Life Orb with an Adamant max attack nature. Oh my goodness, the damage. But yeah, that's going to be it for Hoopa Unbound, and we'll jump into Volcarona now and see what we got here. So as you can see, we're rocking the Flame Body ability. It shows no item. The item I brought is something I want to keep a secret from Pledge in case we play again, to be honest. Just being honest there. And the Flame Body is a nice tech. I can catch the Zygarde on an extreme speed and burn him. Jirachi on an Iron Head flinch, burn him. Zapdos on a U-turn, burn him. All kinds of different things that I can catch with a Flame Body here, and I love it. So I've got the Fiery Dance. It does damage, quite a bit of damage to Jirachi and Zapdos and Tangrowth, Florges, Uxie, and then I got the Bug Buzz for things that are resisted by the that are resisted from fire type attacks outside of other fire type Pokemon because Bug Buzz wouldn't hit those either. My third and fourth moves are moves I didn't reveal, and since I didn't reveal them, I don't want to reveal them. I'd rather keep that a secret in case we play. Some not necessarily text, but I feel like some good utility on Volcarona with those moves. I'm not showing my EV spread because I don't want to give away what this Volcarona was here for, and stuff like that. So yeah, just gonna go ahead and skip that bad boy and move on to our Serena, which is a Queenly Majesty variant here with the ability Queenly Majesty. Leftovers item: U-turn, drop kick, synthesis, and toxic. U-turn for momentum, drop kick just for Gastrodon, for basic stab. Toxic is there for Zapdos, for Zygarde, for Gastrodon, for Florges. I can synthesize up, U-turn out, and grab momentum on things like Zapdos with my Coco, my Zygarde with my, on Zygarde with my Mamoswine and stuff like that, and keep momentum up. This thing's a momentum grabber. I come in on Gastrodon pretty freely. I don't mind Scald Burns, to be honest. I don't need my attack to be really high or something like that, unless he's a substitute Zygarde, and then I would prefer to not be burned. That way, Drop Kick can break us up at least after 2 hits, and I wouldn't be in too bad of a position. But yeah, that's going to be just about it. Not much to say about Serena. I guess it could be a, a solid Rapid Spinner in this match. That's going to be something I guess I should have talked about. I'm actually, as important as it is for Rocks to not be up on the field for what Volcarona has to do, Serena, its moveset is too important to drop anything for Rapid Spin. And same thing for Mandibuzz over here. Its moveset is completely too important to drop anything for Defog. So I got the U-turn here, momentum grabber. Once again, I can bring this thing in on Tangrowth and U-turn out. I can bring this thing in on Gengar and U-turn out. I can bring this thing in on Uxie or Mega Houndoom and U-turn out. Zapdos is a likely switch in, so I do have the Toxic. It hits not only Zapdos, it hits Tangrowth, it hits Zygarde 50% on the switch if it wants to try to come in and set up a sub, get behind that. It gets the Uxie with the Toxic, Florges with the Toxic, and can U-turn out on things like Florges and Zapdos and give momentum to things like Tapu Koko and Hoopa Unbound, and Mamoswine and Volcarona and things like that. And then I got Roost there for longevity. Enough, like I ran almost max on both my defensive Pokemon here. I ran 248, 244 with a Careful Nature here on Mandibuzz because I could actually afford the 16 in defense. Actually helps. You wouldn't believe what that 16 EVs in defense does. But my special defense allows me to almost infinitely wall Gengar, Mega Houndoom, and I can even take a Thunderbolt from Zapdos. And if Zapdos isn't offensive, I can almost avoid a 2-hit KO as long as Stealth Rocks aren't up, I think. So that's just incredible bulk there by Mandibuzz. But yeah, that's going to be it. And we'll go ahead and hop into the replay now, and we'll be right back. Alright, so here we are with the replay, and my opponent chooses to bring the Tangrowth, Gengar, Uxie, Zygarde 50%, Gastrodon, and the Zapdos. So immediately I see no Mega Houndoom, no Jirachi, and no Frogadier, which I thought could have been, like a Weapon X in this matchup. So, something we didn't expect was the Gengar. Could be like a Disable Will-O-Wisp set substitute or something like that. It could be a Toxic variant as well, and it could be like a Choice Scarf variant. It could be a Destiny Bond variant. Gengar has a lot of different techs. Uxie is his only Stealth Rocker, so it's likely to be Stealth Rocks, U-turn, maybe Thunder Wave, maybe a Tanga Berry for Volcarona or something like that. And then the Tangrowth is more than likely Assault Vest. It allows it to eat a hit from Volcarona, at least one, and maybe kill back with a Rock Slide as long as I'm not Chardy Berry or anything like that. And given that it doesn't miss. And then the Zygarde 50% is pretty scary. It could be a substitute variant, like I mentioned. It could be a Choice Banded variant, pretty scary. Gastrodon and Zapdos and Tangrowth make for a terrifying, very fucking annoying core. But it looks like my opponent's brought what could be like Semi-Stall or maybe Toxic Stall to an extent, to the point where he can get Stealth Rocks up, annoy my team, beat down my team, eat up my hits from my team, and then bring in a Choice Scarf Gengar and clean up late game. That's what I see here at Team Preview. But I could be completely wrong. Pledge is a very very good builder, and he can bring some unorthodox things that could pay off in the end. So I'm going to be nervous but excited at the same time. So we'll be okay here, and we can go ahead and hop into it. So seeing Uxie is his only stealth rocker, we're going to lead with our Volcarona actually, and try to force that out and prevent it from getting up stealth rocks. However, he leads off with his Gengar. I'm not sure exactly why he led off with Gengar. I'm maybe expecting Tapu Koko lead, because Tapu Koko is a fine lead as well. I could taunt versus Uxie. I could U-turn out versus everything else. If I was a Scarf variant, I could U-turn or Volt Switch versus everything. Not name his ground types, obviously. So he's got his Gengar in here, and I see how big of a threat it is to things like Serena and Tapu Koko, especially if it's a Choice Scarf variant. So what I'm going to do here is, knowing I'm a very, very bulky Volcarona, I'm going to stay in here and just click the Fiery Dance as my opponent switches out to the Gastrodon. So, shoot, it went too fast here, but the play here was definitely to go out to Serena. However, I know that my opponent is a good player. I know Pledgy's good, and I know he needs to scout for the Giga Drain by going out into Zapdos here. However, if I was an offensive Volcarona, I think I may have just won there. Had I quivered predicting his switch out into Zapdos. But I do go into Serena since I'm not an offensive Volcarona. I go into Serena here as my opponent does make the double out into Zapdos. And knowing I can take any one hit because of my max HP, I'm going to go for the Toxic here as my opponent goes for the Metal Sound. And not wanting to take a Heat Wave or a Hidden Power Ice, I'm going to go into Mandibuzz. But with my Spadef dropped, my opponent's actually going to choose to go ahead and go straight for a Thunderbolt and catches my Zapdos doing a little bit over half. So a little bit problematic here. I can't afford to take another one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hard switch out. I'm going to double out into my Mamoswine, predicting at worst a Hidden Power Ice or something. But he goes for the Metal Sound again and actually misses. Neither myself nor my opponent noticed the miss until the following turn when I set up my Stealth Rocks. Unfortunate for my opponent, because after a Metal Sound, it looks like his Hidden Power, which I'm assuming is Hidden Power Grass, so it can hit my Mamoswine and my Seismitoad. I'm assuming that Hidden Power would have probably knocked out, not necessarily, but it could have gotten really close or been an overkill, barely an overkill. It looked close to me, but my opponent says he thinks it would definitely knock out here. The unfortunate thing is he did miss his Metal Sound, and neither of us had noticed. And this happens on turn 6. This happened on turn 5. He missed. On turn 6, I set up my Stealth Rocks and revealed that I'm a Choice Scarf variant. In my mind, that's what happened. I revealed that I was a Choice Scarf variant of Mamoswine. And had I not revealed that, I would have automatically offered a restart. Because I don't like misses, especially a Metal Sound miss. However, had the Metal Sound landed, I would have known that he actually went for Metal Sound. I didn't even know he went for it. I actually thought he went for the Thunderbolt again, and that I was immune to it. That's what I thought happened. But in reality, that's not what happened. He actually went for the Metal Sound, predicting my switch, got the prediction right, missed the Metal Sound, and we didn't actually notice until the following turn when I survived. However, had he landed the Metal Sound and my Spadef was dropped, I wouldn't have stayed in to get up my Stealth Rocks. I would have switched out into my Serena and then U-turned out into my Mamoswine. So I want that to be known. But I also want it to be known that had he missed that the first turn, on turn 5, and we both noticed it, I would have offered a restart, as you're going to see here in a minute anyway. So here I'm forced out because I was locked into my Stealth Rocks, and I'm going to switch out to Tapu Koko as my opponent decides to roost up on my Stealth Rocks. Probably knows I'm scarfed by me outspeeding because his Zapdos seems speedy. Here I'm going to go for the Grass Knot immediately, predicting the switch out into Gastro, but he goes hard into his Zygarde, and he eats up my Grass Knot. Had I went for the Dazzling Gleam, into dazzling them, I would have been able to knock him out, it looks like. However, he's going to reveal Protect here. My Shuckleberry pops on 1,000 arrows, and I get some nice damage off. And here he's forced out into his Tangrowth. And I go for the Dazzling Gleam, and he does reveal that he is more than likely Assault Vest here. And I'm not going to be able to do any type of damage. So I'm going to hard switch out into my Mandibuzz. This is a fine time for me to get a Roost off as well, which is really nice because I needed it. I can't take a hit from Gengar at this range. So I need to get a Roost up, and then I can survive any one hit from here, from any one Pokemon, and I can just U-turn out. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to U-turn out as Zygarde sets up a sub, and I'm going to go back into my Serena. And what I should have did here is on the Protect, it makes sense to go ahead and click Drop Kick. But here, I shouldn't Drop Kick again. What I should do is actually U-turn out. But my opponent misses his Toxic here, and that's lame. That's lame. So I told my opponent, click sub. I'll click Toxic, my own Toxic. I've already revealed Toxic, so I'm not revealing anything. And my opponent goes for the sub. He clicks Protect here because, I told him to, so he'd get his health back. And now he's going to click his Toxic. He's going to get me poisoned, and I'm going to break his, I'm not actually even going to break his sub, which it's almost perfect because this is where we should be in terms of his health and in terms of my health and his substitute. So, yeah, now we can U-turn out, and we're going to eat this 1,000 arrows up because we're max defense. It did 11%, baby. And we're going to U-turn out here, break his sub, and we're going to go into Hoopa Unbound. And predicting his switch, we're actually going to go ahead and click Substitute. But as you can see, my opponent stays in and he goes for the 1,000 arrows. He is revealed to be extremely bulky, so I knew he couldn't knock me out there. And I knew that if he was faster than me and he went for the 1,000 arrows, I would still be in range to throw off a sub and it not fail. So here we're going to be able to throw off our sub. Our Salad Berry is going to pop, and our speed's going to be, boosted by 1 times now. And now we have the Hyperspace Fury, which my opponent couldn't click Protect, and he couldn't click sub or anything like that. It bypasses sub, it goes through Protect, and Hyperspace Fury was getting a knockout there. So the cool thing is, once I knocked him out, I stole his leftovers. So now I have his leftovers, and I'm getting my health back little by little now. And I can just click Hyperspace Fury here once again. Even if he's Cobra Berry, all he can do is break my sub, and then I can knock him out on the following turn. But what he's going to do is he's going to U-turn out into Gengar. So this almost 100% confirms my suspicions of Choice Scarf Gengar. But I want to make sure, so I'm going to let him knock me out there with the Sludge Wave, and then I'm going to go into my Mandibuzz. And I feel like Mandibuzz has the game wrapped up at this point because Zapdos is poisoned. And I'm just going to click Knockoff. Knockoff into Knockoff eliminates the Uxie. And now he has to choose what he's going to bring in next. And he's going to choose to bring in the Zapdos because Mandibuzz literally beats everything else. I'm going to hard switch out into my Tapu Koko as he actually clicks Roost. So here I have a couple different plays. I could click Taunt, predicting him to switch. But the Tangrowth was an obvious play in my opinion. I felt like Tangrowth was a super obvious play. And I hard switched, or I double switched out into my Volcarona. And now I've got Volcarona in a position to just go ahead and click Fiery Dance. And I take out, I don't take out anything because he's Assault Vest. And he reveals Rock Slide and almost takes me back out. But here, he's going to go into his Gastrodon. And I'm going to click the Bug Buzz here. And I do 40%. I actually thought that was a critical hit. So I didn't calc this. However, had I calced this, I would have realized that my Tapu Koko can knock him out with the Dazzling Gleam. I did not calc this though. I was a little bit hasty in this match. Like I mentioned, there's a likely chance we play again. So I didn't take this game entirely serious enough, and I got a little hasty and just didn't calc, and I lost my Koko for no reason. When it's leading in kills in the league, and I shouldn't have disrespected it like that. However, I bring my Mandibuzz to knock him out. He keeps his Gastrodon around. I'm not for sure why, but he hard switches into Tangrowth, and I'm able to knock his item off and poison him while he only knocks my item off. And then I'll hard switch into Serena as he sacks off Gastrodon. So now, unfortunately, I have Serena in versus Gengar, but I don't necessarily need Serena anymore. So I could sack it off here and maybe try to get some damage off. But Mandibuzz is such an easy switch into this thing that it wouldn't make sense. And he's Sludge Wave over Sludge Bomb, so I can't be poisoned. And that makes it so much better. and now I can just catch my opponent in this never-ending cycle of U-turn until I can get my Mamoswine in freely. My opponent clicks the rock slide here. Not too big of a deal. I'm able to just go into Serena. I thought U-turn would knock him out because my attack stat was higher than Mandabuzz's by quite a bit, but it still managed to live there. I'm going to be able to knock him out though, or he faints to the poison anyway, and Mandabuzz is going to pick up that knockout thanks to the poison. Here the plan was to get Serena in. I don't need Serena anymore. It dies to Gengar and can't do anything to Zapdos. So letting Serena die here is no big deal. What I can do is bring this thing in and just get a slow U-turn off. As he's actually going to switch into his Gengar on my U-turn. And I get my Mandabuzz back in. He goes for the Thunderbolt hoping he can get some damage off. Which he does. But I'm able to knock off his item, which also knocks him out. As he goes for the Curse Body activates. So I'm no longer able to click knockoff. But what I want to do here is not necessarily get damage off on Zapdos, but I want the poison damage to start racking up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Serena here and start this endless cycle, another endless cycle of U-turn until I can get Mamoswine in. I can also click U-turn, but on the I want to keep my differential as well since I can. I want to. Okay, so he goes for the Hidden Power there. The Hidden Power Grass maybe predicting my Mamoswine in on his Thunderbolt. But I'm able to U-turn out knowing I'll live any one hit, and now get my Mamoswine in without risk, and can just click the Icicle Crash for the knockout on the Zapdos there. So yeah, finally going to pick up a win against Pledgy there. Nice 3-0 victory versus our boy Pledgy. And the Blackmont Raikougars are going to get our 7th win of the season. We're 7-2 with a +16 differential. Pledge is going to fall to 5-4 with a +5 differential, but he's neck and neck for the 6th spot in playoffs right now with Andy. Andy is yet to play his Week 9 battle, so we'll see how that goes. If Andy gets a win and Pledge gets a win, they're both going to be neck and neck for that 6th spot in playoffs. A 7th spot guarantees clinches playoffs, and I think, 9 wins guarantees a first round spot. Or one of the top 2 seeds. So that's pretty dope. But yeah, that's gonna be the battle. Let me know what you thought about the prep on both sides of the battle. Let me know what you thought about the plays on both sides of the battle. Who was the Pokemon MVP? What was the play of the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Good game to Pledgy. This is going to go ahead and throw that out there. Good game to Pledgy. Next up, we face David, aka the Confusion, coach of the Miami Heat Waves, who went into Week 9 at 7-1, facing off against the other 7-1 team. So the result of that, I don't want to spoil yet. And then we'll come back to that. Well, we'll play the Confusion next week, regardless whether he's 7-1 or 7-2 or 8-1. It doesn't matter whether he's number 2 in the league or number 1 in the league. It does not matter. We will be playing him next week, and we will be fighting. One of us is going to grab our 3rd loss, potentially. Okay, so if David loses to Sky, he'll have 2 losses. If Sky loses to David, he'll have 2 losses. And if we can make either of them get 3 losses and us continue to only have 2 losses, then we could, pass them in the power rankings and the standings and whatnot and get that first round bye potentially. So that's the goal now. However, we do play, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we do play David, aka the Confusion, and Jacko to finish out the season, and they are, 2 of the top 3 teams in the league right now. So it's very likely that we could play them again in the playoffs. So that being said, we're not necessarily bringing our best teams, but we are bringing very competent teams that we feel confident in that can win the game without being our very, very best sets. That being said, I'm not giving myself any room for excuses next week. No margin for error next week or anything. I'm trying to win all these games. This is one of the most competitive leagues I've played in. I'm very happy with the guys I've recruited and the level of play they're playing at. So by no means am I making excuses or anything like that. I love the competition. That's the reason I play this game. Is for the competition, the intensity, the focus while I'm playing and stuff like that. That's the whole reason I play. Without all that, none of it matters. Like, it wouldn't be fun without the intensity, without the competition, without the competitiveness, without all this stuff. It wouldn't be fun. That being said, good game to Pledge. Good luck the rest of the season. And we're coming for you guys next week. The Miami Heat Waves, coached by the Confusion, aka David. So yeah, look out for that. Now let me know what you thought about this stuff. Let me know what you think about next week. Blah blah blah, all that stuff down in the comment section. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.